The cold lights flickered inside the alien sector of the space station. The air smelled strange like burned metal and flowers that didn't grow on Earth. Human engineer. Callan Ward was not supposed to be there. A big red warning sign had blinked above the gate. Humans forbidden. But the gravity stabilizer was failing, and the station commander had ordered him in. "You're the only one smart enough to fix it," he'd said. "Just don't get caught." Callan moved carefully through the smooth, silver halls. The alien walls pulsed softly like they were alive. He had never seen anything like it. No cameras. No guards. Only strange blue light guiding him deeper inside. Then, he saw her. She stood tall in a dark hallway, her long silver cloak touching the ground. Her skin was soft purple with glowing silver marks like starlight. Her eyes were violet, sharp, and filled with fire. She looked royal-powerful and angry. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice firm, but smooth like music. Callan froze. "I am Callan. I'm a human engineer. I was sent to fix the gravity core. I mean no harm." The alien woman narrowed her eyes. "This area is sacred. No humans are allowed." "I know, but if the core fails, your entire wing could collapse." "I only came to help." She stared at him. Then, after a moment, she turned and walked away. "Follow me," she said quietly. Callan hesitated, then followed. He didn't know who she was, but something about her didn't feel cold like the others. She led him through a long hall into a large chamber. The walls were full of floating symbols and alien technology. "This is the heart of our life support," she said. "Touch nothing but the stabilizer." Callan moved toward the glowing device. It buzzed with unstable energy. His fingers worked fast, attaching a human converter and redirecting the energy feed. After a few minutes, the buzzing stopped, the floor leveled. The air pressure returned to normal. "It's done," he said. The woman looked at him in silence. Then she spoke, softer now. "No human has ever fixed this before." "No human was ever allowed in before," he said, giving a small smile. She almost smiled back, almost. "What is your name again?" she asked. "Callan Ward. And you?" "I am Princess Aralyn, daughter of the High King of Velaris." Callan's heart skipped a beat. A princess? He had just entered forbidden space, met royalty, and somehow survived. "I didn't mean to offend you, princess. I only wanted to help." "You did more than help," she said. "But if the guards find you here, they will not ask questions. They will shoot." Callan stepped back. "Then I should leave now." Aralyn looked away. For a moment, she said nothing. Then, quietly, "No, not yet." She moved closer, her voice low. "You saw our technology, our weaknesses. If my father learns of this, he will say you must be silenced." "But I saved this chamber," Callan said. "To him that means nothing," she replied. "You are human, and humans are not welcome." Callan felt anger rise. "Why? We signed the peace treaty. We agreed to share the station." "On paper, yes," she said, "but old hatred runs deep. Some laws are not written in ink, they are burned into blood." Silence fell between them. Callan looked at her face, strong, proud, and yet so sad. He had seen that sadness in human eyes too. It was the same pain, just in a different color. "You're not like the others," he said. She blinked, surprised. "Neither are you." Outside the door, a sudden noise echoed metal boots on the floor. Aralyn's face turned pale. "The guards," she whispered. "Hide!" Callan looked around, but there was nowhere to run. She grabbed his hand and pulled him behind a glowing curtain. They stood close, almost touching. The door slid open. Voices filled the room. "Princess Aralyn," a soldier said. "We heard reports of a human presence." "There is no one here but me," she answered calmly. "Now leave." Footsteps paused, then moved away. The door closed. Callan let out a breath. You just lied for me. I just saved your life, she said, stepping back. Why? She looked at him with soft eyes. Because I don't want to see another good soul die for stupid rules. Callan didn't know what to say. The silence between them felt heavy, but not uncomfortable. Then she leaned in, her voice barely a whisper. If they find you, they'll kill you and me. Callan didn't sleep the night after their encounter. He lay on the cold bunk in the human sector, staring at the ceiling, hearing Oralan's last words repeat in his mind. They'll kill you. And me, he should have. Felt scared. But instead, he felt something else drawn. The next morning, he returned to duty, pretending everything was normal. But his hands shook while fixing panels. His thoughts weren't on wires or circuits. They were on glowing violet eyes, soft alien skin, and a voice that had trusted him. When no one else would, 3 days passed. Then, a note appeared in his toolkit. The message was written in perfect, clean script. Come to the old reactor room. Midnight. Come alone. There was no name. But Callan knew who it was. He arrived at the empty room just before midnight. Shadows filled the space, and the machines hummed like ghosts whispering. The door opened behind him, and she stepped in. Princess Oralan wore a long, dark cloak, her face half covered by a hood. She looked different, less like a princess, more like someone hiding from the world. You came, she said softly. I had to, Callan answered. She stepped closer, scanning the room. No one followed? No, I told no one. She removed the hood, revealing her shining hair and sharp eyes. But tonight, her expression was softer, less guarded. There's something I need from you, she said. Callan raised an eyebrow. Another gravity core? No, she said. Something harder. She walked to a corner and opened a hidden compartment. Inside, her younger brother lay on a hover stretcher. His skin flickered between light and dark shades. His eyes were closed. Wires ran from his head to a cracked neural helmet. My brother, she whispered. He was poisoned during a meeting with one of your kind. Callan stepped back. A human did this? No, she said firmly. An assassin who blamed humans. They made it look like your people did this. My father believed it. And you didn't? I saw the truth. I saw the footage. But the file was deleted from our archives. Callan looked at her. You want me to fix the helmet? I've tried everything. Our tech failed, but I heard humans are better at repairing what we fear. He knelt beside the boy. The helmet was alien, but the internal connectors, the energy source, it looked like someone tried to mix human tech with alien code. Whoever did this wanted it to fail. I can try, Callan said, but this might take time. I trust you. He looked up. You barely know me. You came when no one else would. You saved my people's chamber, and now you're here again. Callan smiled slightly. And you? You lied to save me. Risked your title. Why? She didn't answer for a moment. Then she said, because something in you feels familiar, like we are different, yet the same. As Callan worked on the neural core, Oralan sat quietly beside him. They didn't speak much. But sometimes, silence spoke louder. He could feel it, something real growing between them, a connection. A spark, dangerous, forbidden, but alive. After an hour, the boy stirred. His fingers twitched. A low beep sounded from the helmet. Oralan rushed to his side. He's stabilizing, Callan said. He'll need more care, but he's waking up. She looked at him with eyes full of relief. You did it. No, Callan said. We did. Then, from outside the door, a voice shouted, someone's in there. Oralan's eyes widened. They found us. She grabbed the hover stretcher and pressed a button. The wall behind them shifted, revealing a hidden passage. Go through there, she said. What about you? I'll delay them. No, we go together. There's no time. He hesitated, but she pushed him into the tunnel. Just before the wall closed, she whispered, "Tomorrow, meet me again. Same place." The door sealed. Callan crawled through the tight passageway, heart racing. The hidden tunnel led him back to the human sector. No alarms, no soldiers. He made it. But he knew they were watching now. This wasn't just about a broken helmet or forbidden meetings anymore. This was war in slow motion, ticking quietly behind. Smiles and handshakes. Back in his room, he found another note waiting. Only 3 words. "They saw us." The space station's morning came without sunlight. Just the quiet hum of machines and cold air pressing against metal walls. Callan walked through the human sector, pretending everything was normal. But his heart was heavy. He knew now they were being watched. He hadn't heard from Oralin in 2 days. No note, no signal, nothing. Every time he passed a security drone or a Velari officer, he felt eyes drilling into him. They didn't need to speak. Their silence was louder than any threat. Then the station's central speaker buzzed. "All humans must report to Docking Bay 7. Earth Command has requested your departure within 24 hours. Callan stopped in his tracks. Others around him looked confused, even angry. "This wasn't planned," one technician muttered. "What's going on?" Someone else asked. But Callan already knew. They weren't being asked to leave. They were being pushed out. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept staring at the small crystal Oralin had left in his tools long ago. It looked like glass, but when he connected it to his old decoder, it lit up. A video file opened. Oralin's face appeared tired, pale, but defiant. "If you're seeing this, then you know things are worse now," she said. "I've uncovered something. My father is planning to break the peace. Not just push humans away, but destroy their connection to the stars. Permanently." Her voice shook slightly. "He says humans are poison, too wild to be trusted. But I've seen what you can do, what you are. I believe in you, Callan, and I believe in us." Callan paused the video, his fingers trembling. She had recorded this days ago, maybe before they met in the hidden room. She had known this storm was coming. He heard footsteps. The door to his room opened without warning. A tall human officer stepped inside, followed by 2 Velari guards. "Ward," the officer. "Syed, you've been requested for immediate return to Earth." Callan stood. "Why?" "Security reasons." "You mean because I talked to her?" The officer didn't answer. He just pointed to the bag already packed by someone else. "You have 2 hours." As the door closed again, Callan sat down. They were tearing him away, and there was nothing he could do unless he did something crazy. He looked again at the crystal, then at his toolkit, then he moved. He slid the crystal into a small transmitter and sent it coded, scrambled, but directed to a known human safe channel. Let the truth spread. He left a fake version of the crystal in his bag, a decoy, one that would lead nowhere. Then he slipped into the maintenance corridor through a hidden hatch, using his old engineers' codes. He didn't run. Running drew attention. He walked like he belonged there, just another technician doing late-night repairs. But inside, every step felt like walking through fire. He reached the old cargo deck, empty, silent, forgotten, and then she was there. Oralin stepped out from behind a pillar, her cloak wrapped tightly. Her eyes searched his face, and when she saw him, she didn't smile. She grabbed his arm and pulled him close. "You shouldn't be here," she said. "They're forcing us off the station," he replied. "I had to see you." "They know." "Callan, my father's personal guard saw us. I tried to lie, but they'll take you from me," he said. She looked into his eyes. "They already have." He wanted to hold her, to tell her it would be okay, but he couldn't lie. This was beyond them now, bigger, dangerous. "I'm going back," Callan said. "But I'm sending your message out. Earth has to know." Oralin nodded. but her voice broke. "Once you leave, I may not see you again. I'll find a way back. It won't be safe. I don't care." A tear slipped down her cheek, and Callan reached out, gently brushing it away. Her skin felt warm, even in the cold of the cargo bay. "I wish we had more time," she whispered. "Time's never on the side of the honest," he said. A sharp sound echoed footsteps. "Not one, but many. They're coming," Aralyn said. She grabbed his face and kissed him soft. "Fast, desperate, go," she said. Callan hesitated, then ran. He disappeared into the tunnels as shouts filled the air behind him. Just before the hatch closed, he heard one last word from her lips, faint, trembling, real. "Soon." He couldn't go back to his room. Not after what happened in the cargo bay. Callan hid inside an old ventilation shaft, curled behind humming heat exchangers. His hands were cut from crawling through sharp metal, and his eyes stung from the smoke leaking out of the wall filters. The station was too quiet, like it knew something was about to break. He watched a patrol drone float past through the grill. 2 Valari soldiers followed it, slow and silent. One of them was holding something small in his hand, a silver badge. His badge. They had found his room. They know I ran. He pressed his back to the cold metal and tried to think. His signal to Earth had gone out. Aralyn was still alive for now, but her family's plan hadn't stopped. And the station had turned into a trap, and he couldn't stop thinking about what she said. I tried to lie, but what if they hadn't believed her? What if they were using her? Hours passed. He moved deeper into the tunnels, past old systems and forgotten doors. That's when he found something strange, a hidden control panel, blinking red. Behind it, a storage room with crates stamped with both Earth and Valari symbols. He cracked one open. What he saw made his heart stop. Inside were rows of neural disruptors, banned tech, designed to shut down the mind-wipe memories, erase thought. The kind of weapon used in silent wars. The kind Earth had sworn to never make again. But these weren't just Valari. Some had human serial codes. Someone was helping them. Callan pulled out a small tag. From one of the crates. It had the Earth symbol and the name of Commander Race, the officer who had forced him to leave. No, Callan thought, cold rushing into his chest. "We're being sold out." Just then, a door opened behind him. He spun fast, tool in hand, but stopped. It was a human, female, tall, sharp eyes, military uniform, Earth intelligence. "You weren't supposed to find that," she said. Clen narrowed his eyes. "Who are you?" She stepped inside, closing the door. "Agent Saren, I work for Earth's Shadow Division." "There's a Shadow Division?" There wasn't. Not until the Valari made contact. She looked around at the crates. "These weapons are proof of an agreement," she said. "A quiet exchange. Earth gives them weapons. Valari give us control of new systems, navigation codes, faster ships. We move ahead together. And betray our people?" Callan asked. She looked at him calmly. "Sometimes progress requires silence." "No, this is murder. Only if it fails." Callan's fist clenched. "You sent us here knowing it would go bad." Saren raised an eyebrow. "And you? What were you doing with the Princess of Velaris?" "I was protecting her." "She wants peace." Saren gave a soft laugh. "She thinks she does. But when the time comes, she'll choose her blood." "You don't know her." Saren tilted her head. "And you do?" Silence stretched. Then Saren's voice grew cold. "You should leave now, Ward. Get on the ship. Forget everything." "I can't. Then I'll give them your location." "You'll start a war." "No," she said, stepping closer. "You will." Suddenly, she drew a small pulse pistol. Callan moved fast. He threw his toolkit hard at her arm. The weapon clattered to the ground. He grabbed it, pointed it back at her. "Don't," he said. But she didn't flinch. "Go ahead, shoot. Make it easier." He didn't. He ran. He sprinted. Through tunnels, turned corners, jumped over broken vents, until he reached the lower gravity ring. He locked the door behind him. His chest burned, but his mind burned hotter. Earth had spies, the Valari had plans, and now both sides wanted him gone. He stopped inside an old observation room. From here, the stars looked peaceful, quiet dots in black space. But he knew now. Peace was just a mask. Then he saw her again. Aralen stood at the far window, alone. He didn't move. He didn't speak. She turned slowly. "I heard what happened," she said. "I saw the weapons," Callan said. "Your people, my people. They're all part of this." "I know," she whispered. "You knew?" She nodded. "I wanted to stop it, Callan. I tried, but even my words have limits." He walked toward her. "Then why call me? Why bring me into this if it was already lost?" "Because I had to believe something could be different," she said. "I had to believe someone would try." He stared at her for a long time. "And now?" She didn't answer. Instead, she looked over her shoulder. Then whispered, "We're being watched right now." The moment Aralen whispered, "We're being watched," Callan didn't turn. He kept his eyes on the stars, pretending everything was normal. But inside, his body tensed like a coiled wire. "How many?" he asked softly. "Too many," she replied. "My father's spies, your people's agents. Even my own guards have orders I no longer control." He nodded slightly. "Then we walk out, together, calm, no sudden moves." And they did. Like nothing was wrong. Like two strangers who simply crossed paths. But once they reached the lower maintenance shaft, Callan pulled open a hidden hatch behind the wall panels. Aralen ducked inside first. He followed and sealed the door. Finally, they could breathe. "Where does this lead?" she asked. "Human resistance base. Hidden deep inside the old fuel ring. Only a few of us know it exists. You still have friends?" "I don't know," Callan said honestly. "I'm about to find out." The path was dark, the metal cold. The deeper they went, the older the station felt, like a graveyard of forgotten machines and rusted memories. They reached a sealed hatch. Callan pressed his hand on a scanner, hoping it would still recognize him. The door opened with a tired hiss. Inside were a few humans, ragged, quiet, eyes sharp with suspicion. Most wore patchwork uniforms. One woman stepped forward, pointing a stun baton at Aralen. "You brought a royal?" "She's not here to fight," Callan said quickly. "She's the reason we know what's coming." The woman stared at Aralen. "And why should we trust an alien with golden blood?" Aralen didn't blink. "Because I betrayed my crown to save a human." The silence was thick. Then someone at the back spoke. "Let them in." They entered. The space was cramped but alive with old computers, weapons, and stolen food packs. People whispered as they passed. Some looked afraid. Others just tired. A young man with a metal arm came forward. "Name's Rafe. You helped my brother once in the repair docks. You got 5 minutes to explain why you're here." Callan didn't waste time. He showed them the crystal with the war plans. Explained the fake peace, the shared weapons, the lies on both sides. He showed them footage Earth commanders shaking hands with Valari lords in dark private rooms. Plans to seal off human colonies. Neural weapons set to launch soon. Rafe watched in silence. Then said, "So Earth wants control. The Valari want obedience. And we're just pawns in the middle." "Not if we move first," Callan said. "With what?" Rafe snapped. "We're engineers, not soldiers. We don't need soldiers. We need a signal." He pointed to an old tower map. "This tower connects directly to every Valari channel and Earth border station. If we send this video live, they can't deny it. Both sides will see the betrayal. They'll shut it down in seconds." "Then we only need 1 second," Aralen said. "One moment of truth." Rafe looked between them, then nodded slowly. "All right, but it won't be easy. The tower's on the upper deck. Royal Security Hub. We'll go, Callan said. Not alone, Rafe added. You'll need backup. They moved fast. In just an hour, a small team of 6 humans and 1 alien princess were ready to strike the most protected system on the station. They dressed in stolen uniforms. Aralyn wore her cloak low. Callan carried a cum crystal hidden inside a power cell. The plan was simple. Sneak in, reach the tower, upload the truth. But no plan survives contact with betrayal. As they moved through the upper deck, passing guards. Acting normal, Callan noticed something wrong. One of Rafe's men kept touching his wrist, over and over. A nervous signal. Callan's eyes narrowed. He turned slightly, caught Aralyn's eye, and shook his head once. They were being led into a trap. Split now, Callan whispered. They turned a sharp corner. Aralyn ducked left. Callan moved right. Just as they did, a wall exploded. Stun blasts flew through the air. Screams, smoke, shouts of traitors. Stop them! Callan ran with Aralyn through a back hallway. Alarms began to blare. Lights turned red. The whole station was now hunting them. I thought your friend Rafe. He didn't betray us, Callan growled. That other man did. Someone on Earth's side must have paid him. They reached the cum tower. The door was sealed. A heavy lock. Step aside, Aralyn said. She pressed her fingers against the panel and whispered something in Velari. The door hissed open. How did you? I'm still royalty, she said. For now. They rushed inside. Callan hooked the crystal to the uplink. Broadcasting now, he said. A countdown began. 5, 4, 3. Suddenly the door behind them burst open. A dozen soldiers stormed in, guns raised. At the timer hit 1. The signal went live. The truth, raw, ugly, undeniable, flashed across every screen in the space station. Earth commanders shaking hands with Velari warlords. Crates of banned weapons. Secret talks. Betrayal in quiet rooms. And then Aralyn's face appeared. I am Princess Aralyn of Velaris. Her voice echoed. And I stand against this war. I stand with the truth. With the human who saved me, not because he was allowed to, but because it was right. It lasted exactly 7 seconds. Then the screen went black. In that short time, everything changed. Across the station, soldiers froze. Officers shouted. Command lines collapsed. And then they were captured. Callan and Aralyn were dragged into the central hall by guards from both sides, Velari soldiers on one side, Earth enforcers on the other, shackled, surrounded. Watched. No. Hiding now. They were no longer secrets. They were symbols. A massive crowd filled the room. Above, the royal family of Velaris stood like statues. Aralyn's father, the High King, watched them with cold, unreadable eyes. His voice was sharp as a blade. You have broken sacred law. You shared our private technology. You kissed a human. Gasps rang out. You betrayed your bloodline, your people, your very race. Aralyn didn't bow. I chose truth. You chose a man who doesn't even belong among us, the king spat. A thing born of chaos, weak, short-lived, impulsive. Callan, step forward. I might be all that, but I saved your systems, helped your daughter, and exposed a war. If weakness looks like that, maybe you're afraid of it. The king's eyes narrowed. He raised a hand. Silence him. A guard stepped forward until Aralyn spoke. Touch him, and I will never kneel again. The hall grew quiet. The king studied her for a long moment, then spoke calm and cruel. Then you choose him? I choose what's right. The king turned to the crowd, raising his arms. Let the people decide. A tribunal was set that night. Not a fair trial more. Like a show, one side wanted her silence. The other wanted to see her shamed. And between them stood Callan, the human she refused to give up. The High King addressed the masses. This is not just about a crime. This is about the purity of our culture, our laws. The union of alien and human is forbidden. It is written in the laws of Velaris. A priest stepped forward, holding a ceremonial blade. "She will choose," the priest said, "before all of us, before her ancestors. She will hold the blade and declare her loyalty either to her blood or to the human." Callan turned to Aralen, whispering, "You don't have to do this." She looked at him with fire in her eyes. "I'm not afraid of them. I'm only afraid of living without meaning." She took the blade. It shimmered in her hands, ancient and light. The crowd was silent now. Even the king. Aralen turned to face them all. "I was taught humans were animals, that their love was temporary, their hands dirty, their minds too wild." She looked at Callan. "But I met a human who saved lives without reward, who risked everything for truth, who loved without expecting love in return." She turned the blade toward herself. "If that is weakness, then I choose it." The priest stepped forward. "Then you must make your mark." A pillar of stone rose from the center of the hall. Velari law inscribed on its surface. The blade could rewrite only one line. She had to carve one of two phrases: "I reject the human," or "I reject the law." One meant freedom but shame. The other meant exile or death. Callan stepped forward, shaking his head. "You don't have to do this for me." "I'm not doing it for you," she said softly. "I'm doing it for us, for everyone like us who is told they can't choose." Her hand moved. The blade cut deep. She wrote, "I reject the law." The crowd erupted, shouts, chaos, confusion. The king stood, his face red with fury. "She's no longer Velari," he shouted. "She is nothing. She is cast out." Guards grabbed her. Callan ran forward. Blasters raised, but then something unexpected happened. Some in the crowd started clapping. Not all, but enough. Then more. Velari citizens. Some humans. A few guards, clapping louder. Voices rose. She chose truth. She chose love. The crowd swelled, divided but no longer quiet. The king raised his arm to order her death, but the people blocked the guards. A human medic stood in front of Aralen. A young Velari boy held Callan's arm. Then Rafe appeared with resistance fighters. "Time to go," he said. Smoke drifted through the royal chamber. Alarms blared. Orders were shouted. But no one listened anymore. Princess Aralen stood beside Callan, bruised, breathless, but unbroken. Around them, the crowd had shifted, not into a mob, not into chaos, but into something powerful. Witnesses. They had seen her choose love over law, truth over tradition. And now the world was different. Velari guards hesitated. Earth enforcers backed away. No one wanted to be the one to pull the trigger, not after millions had just seen the truth. The High King stood frozen at the edge of his throne. He had ruled with fear for decades. Now all he had was silence. Aralen took Callan's hand. She didn't ask if he was okay. She didn't need to. Their hands were covered in dust and blood, but neither let go. "We need to leave," Callan whispered. "Not run," she replied. "Leave. Different thing." Rafe and the human resistance pushed through the back with a hover shuttle. The door opened. Inside were others, Velari and human, young, frightened, but ready, not soldiers, but believers. A voice echoed through the hall. It was Sarin, Agent Sarin, patched up from the last fight, holding a long-range communicator. Her voice came through every speaker on the station. "This is Earth Intelligence. All forces, stand down. Priority command. Cease fire on all Velari targets and human defectors." A truth signal was verified. New orders pending. Callan's eyes widened. "She's helping us now?" Aralen shook her head. "No, she's saving herself. But it buys us time." As they boarded the shuttle, Aralen looked back once. The king was still watching. His soldiers had not touched him. But he looked smaller now, older. Defeated. She gave a slight nod, not of respect, but of goodbye. Then the shuttle doors closed. They shot through the docking bay, through collapsing gravity fields and drifting space junk. Alarms screamed behind them. A few fighter drones gave chase, but not for long. They were called off. The shuttle was silent inside. A young Valari girl stared at Callan. "Is it true? You're her mate?" Callan blinked. I guess." Oralin gave him a sideways smile. "Not very romantic. I'm an engineer, not a poet." She laughed. The sound was small, tired, but real. They left the station behind, and the stars opened before them. "We need somewhere safe," Rafe said. "I know a place," Oralin replied. "The old moon station, abandoned, but the life system still." "Work? We can rebuild there?" asked one of the human kids. "No," Talon said. "We can start there. A place with no flags. No kings. No one telling you who to love." But peace didn't mean the fight was over. 3 days later, a message arrived. Broadcast on an open channel. Short, chilling. "Return the princess, or war will follow." Signed by the High King himself. Callan looked at Oralin. "He won't stop." "No," she said. "But neither will we." That night, in the quiet of the old moon station, the group gathered in the control dome. The stars looked close from here. Closer than ever. Callan stood before them. "I know I'm not a leader," he said, "but we all saw what they did. On both sides, lies, control, fear, and it almost worked, almost." He held up the cracked data crystal. "This was never about one secret. It was about who gets to decide what's true." He looked at Oralin, standing beside him, not as a princess, but as his equal. "We can't go back. Not now, but maybe that's a good thing." Oralin stepped forward. "We are not Valari. We are not Earth. We are not spies or rebels or traitors. We are people, and we are free." The group nodded. That night, they renamed the station. They called it Unity. It became a place of hope, small at first, quiet. But words spread. Others came, outcasts, truth-tellers, human and alien. They built together. They defended each other. Callan and Oralin never wore crowns, never held weapons again. But their story traveled from system to system. A human man, an alien princess, a forbidden love. That started a revolution. Years later, when peace finally came, children asked, "Is it true that the stars changed because of a kiss?" And history would say yes, because one woman dared to break the law, and one man dared to love her anyway.